General Jessie Duarte. It's great to have you indeed, Doc. Thank you so much for your time on the agenda this morning. You know, one of the words that keep surfacing and emerging as we continue to hear tributes for the now late DSG is forthright, straight shooter, decisive, and those are some characteristics that can put you out of favor with people. Talk to us about the criticism that she received because of that and how she handled that criticism.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and good morning to you and to the viewers at home. Indeed, we woke up with the very sad news this morning, and you'll remember that Mama Jessie Duarte joined the ANC during the times when it was not fashionable to join the ANC. In fact, to be associated with the liberation movement at that time, it was a crime on its own. So it's a matter of risking your life if you join the liberation movement. And I think what really needs to be taken into account in remembrance of Mam Duarte is the manner in which she joined the liberation movement at a very young age. When she was still at school, she was very politically active, and she was not properly guided at that particular time, because she was not a member of any political party, but on her own, she realized that there was a problem in the society, and she felt that she needed to play a significant role in trying to bridge the gap. And she joined the political activism when she was at Coronationville Secondary School. And at that time, she was very young, and the leaders of the ANC have realized that she's one of a person that could play a major role in the fight against the apartheid government. And in 1979, she was recruited by Mama Albertina Sisulu as the leader of the Women's League, and she was very instrumental in building the structures of the ANC Women's League in the country. So she had a major role, because at that time, the ANC needed some structures that could help them to fight against the apartheid regime. And later on, in 1981, she served as a secretary of the Federation of Transvaal Women, and she played a major role in trying to conscientize women in the fight against the apartheid regime. And that's where I think she played a very significant role, and she was recognized by many people and many leaders of the ANC and the world because of the role that she had played there. But also, when she was detained without trial in 1988, you remember at that time, the apartheid government have declared a state of emergency. And she was detained without trial, not only herself, but with many other leaders that were detained without trial. And at that time, she did not give up, because the initial reason for the government of the apartheid to detain leaders without trial was try to stop them to be active or to fight against the apartheid regime. And that's where she met Beyers Node, where she advised him to play a major role in trying to educate leaders that were still in the country in order for them to be prepared and be ready for the democratic government, so that whenever they are deployed in powers of authority, they are able to play a major role and they are able to assist the government, so that they won't be taking over in the government when they are not prepared and they are not ready. And that's where she also showed her own leadership capabilities by saying, even if she's detained without trial, but those who are still not detained should play a major role, and the struggle must continue regardless of her detainment. And you remember, in 1990, she was elected to serve in the PC of Gauteng. And then she served in the interim structure of PC in Gauteng. And she was initially appointed as the MEC of Safety and Security. And where she served very well at the government of Gauteng. But at that time, she was accused of misusing public funds, and she was very bold in saying, indeed, there are things that are not going right in the Gauteng Department of Community Safety. And remember, when she was charged for driving the state.
Well, Dr. Zamokuhle Mbandlwa, we're having a bit of an issue with getting him on, and as soon as we have him back, we will come back to him indeed. We will now be going to Natasha Piri, who's on standby there at Luthuli House to give us more reaction to that press briefing that we've just seen by the ruling party. Natasha, of course, we've just got word of some of the plans that are now at an advanced stage as far as the funeral is concerned, as well as the memorial service that is due to take place on Thursday. What more can you tell us coming out of Luthuli House right now?
Indeed, Mkolisi. So the ANC has declared a week of mourning, and as you correctly said, that the national memorial that the party will hold will be on Thursday. We further heard the Treasurer General of the ANC, Mr. Paul Mashatile, saying that all ANC flags in the provinces will fly at half-mast, and of course the various provinces will be holding memorials for the late Deputy Secretary General of the party, Ms. Jessie Duarte. But I mean, the mood here at the party's headquarters in town, the Luthuli House, has been quite somber. We saw the spokesperson of the ANC, Mr. Pule, just breaking down in tears, struggling to hold his tears back. And just when the briefing concluded, he rushed off and he literally broke down. I mean, these are sad scenes that we see here at Luthuli House. We've been seeing various officials of the ANC, not only the Treasurer General of the ANC, the likes of Keith Khoza, the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, Mr. Thembikosi TK Nqiza, and of course the Regional Secretary of the ANC here in Johannesburg, Mr. Sasabona Mangwai. But I'm actually joined by the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, Mr. TK Nqiza. We'll be talking to him. Of course, he's also going to be headed to Ms. Duarte's home at 12 o'clock, where various ANC officials, will be paying their respects and their messages of support and condolences to the Duarte family. Mr. Nqiza, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. This is a very sad day, a very somber time for the movement. I mean, how will you remember Ms. Duarte?
Firstly, morning to your viewers. She was our mother, man. I mean, she, especially I would say this generation of ours, I mean, she put us under her wing. She carried us under difficult circumstances. I mean, one thing that she preached at all times was, the non-racial struggle that she was pushing at all times, the inclusion of different race in the ANC. She was really emphasizing on it. That's why some of us, we always come out very strong about the exclusion of some of our comrades, whether it's in the Western Cape and many other areas. The struggle against the women. Very, very, very strong on it. I mean, I would know how she would feel about many gains that would have gained in this conference. For instance, the emergence of Comrade Tasnim as a Deputy Secretary of Gauteng. I would know it's something that will be dear in her heart. And she believed in a non-racial organization like the ANC, but over and above, she believed in youth leadership. But also, she believed in the unity of the African National Congress. I worked with her for some time. She was like I said, I mean, she was a mother. That's why you'd see Pule feeling like this, and many other comrades of our generation, because it's one person. Remember, she was an official of the ANC for some time, I mean, as a woman. And when we found difficulties, we'd go to her and say, Mama, what do we do? Because our fathers sometimes, they become iron fist. So if there was one person who would go to and talk to was Comrade Jessie. I think we'll miss that touch. In every household is when you realize when you have lost your mother, her importance and the role that they would have played. And I think the African National Congress has really lost, not only the ANC, but the nation as a whole, has lost a very consistent person in fighting for the rights of our people. there was no ambiguity there. Very solid and a sober cadre of our movement. And I think for a very, very long time, we'll miss her. And I think she should be honored. And the role that she would have played in liberating our people, but most of all in carrying the ANC to where it is today with its challenges. Yeah.
She is described as the engine of the organization. I mean, she works in the secretariat of the party, a very powerful position. You're also in charge of the secretariat here in Gauteng of the ANC. What lessons can you take from her, and what lessons have you learned from her?
In fact, we must say that we're in the shoulders of the giant. You know, people who have led this ANC are serious giants, you know. She is one person who was a giant. But one thing I appreciated about her, like I said to you, is how she was able to pull everybody, listen. You know, she taught me to listen to your people. And that's why part of what we are saying on the organizational renewal, we must be an organization that listens to people. She had time. And it doesn't matter who you are, where are you in the part of this country, and she would listen to everybody. I mean, would go in a home there, and but also she had drive to build the organization beyond, you know, the interest of PACs and all these things is what really motivated me about her. You know, to sit and be a full-time worker of the ANC means all the troubles and the problems of the organization. You are like a sponge, you know. You take all the criticism. When the organization does well, most probably people will not even look at you. She's one of those people, you know, always behind but working hard. So I've learned a lot from her as a comrade of the ANC, especially in the position that I find myself in, because it's a position where you need to be level-headed. It's a position where you need to work hard on a daily basis, but most of all, be found on the side of the people, but also direct the direction, you know, because we're a revolutionary movement. We must be able to be on the side of our people. And she was like that. I think it is time, because of legacy, we really make this inclusive leadership possible, but also on the ground. You know, we are now seeing, you know, parties that are racial based, and we need to bring back the African National Congress in many of those areas in her legacy. I think we should be able to do that in Gauteng, areas like Eldos and many other areas. The ANC has lost its strength there, and I think it's our responsibility to take the African National Congress back into that space, and we'll do it. We'll do it. The energy that you see, I mean, in Gauteng and with the current leadership, we are very confident. But it is all because of the teachings of Jessie. And that is why all of us in the ANC would know part of what you... Where are the women, Comrade TK, in whatever you are doing? But where's inclusive leadership? Where are the colored people? Where are the Indian people? That is why you have directly elected people, you know, not co-opted in our leadership in a very long time in Gauteng. The last person we had was Comrade Barbara Chris. Now you have Comrade Craig, Comrade Greg, Comrade Tasneem, and that's where we're going. That's what the renewal of the ANC, part of it, is talking to it. So yes, we will miss Comrade Jessie. I mean, we were thinking about it, talking about it just a few weeks ago. So it is a great loss. We will miss her, I must say.
You've partly answered my question about the inclusivity. In terms of Gauteng, the ANC in Gauteng, the programs that you have, can you just tell us what you have planned for this week? I know it's too early to say, but would you just tell our viewers?
Of course, we are working on a very big memorial service, which we are planning to do on Thursday, where we believe that all our regions must come, all our leagues, but the general society that has been touched by Comrade Jessie, because you want ordinary people, you know, sometimes it's not about the ANC, but ordinary people would want them to come and celebrate the life of a stalwart. Okay. the life of a revolutionary, Comrade Jessie Duarte. Yes.
Mr. Mnisa, thank you so much for your time. Of course, we will catch up with you later on. That was the Provincial Secretary of the ANC here in Gauteng saying that, Umam Duarte really will be missed. And of course, as the Provincial Secretary, he has learned a lot from the late Maid Duarte, saying that he was like a mother figure to her. On that somber note, we'll cross back to you in studio, Mkolisi.